Welcome back to Columbus Brick by Brick, the podcast where we uncover the people, projects, and ideas shaping the future of Columbus, Ohio. I'm your host, Jon Styer, broker and owner of Styer Hospitality Co., where we help investors maximize returns through high-performing short and midterm furnished rentals. Each week, we dive into conversations with entrepreneurs, investors, and leaders who are building something meaningful right here in our city. And today's guest is a powerhouse in the real estate lending space. Joining me is Liz Lawrence, founder of LFG Lending, a Columbus-based mortgage company that specializes in financing for real estate investors, not just here in Central Ohio, but in over 40 states across the country. And Liz isn't just a lender, she's an investor herself, and she's built her business on deep relationships, entrepreneurial grit, and a commitment to helping others scale smartly. In this episode, we will talk about the early influences that shaped Liz's path and the turning point that defined her company's trajectory, as well as the personal lessons she's learned from building LFG Lending brick by brick. We're also going to dig into the investor mindset, explore what's happening right now in Columbus real estate market, and unpack some of the most overlooked financing strategies in today's economic climate. Whether you're an experienced investor or just getting started, Liz brings sharp insights and a transparent, energetic perspective that you won't want to miss. So let's get into it. Here's my conversation with Liz Lawrence on Columbus Brick by Brick. Well, Liz, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I'm really excited to hear about your journey, and we've known each other for a few years, but something always comes out about people when I interview them in this way. So,
in a
good way. Like I get to learn more about people on the podcast, so it's always fun for me. Yeah, I'm happy to have you. I want to start by just kind of talking to the listeners, telling them who you are, how you got to where you are today, and just going from there.
I love it. Liz Lawrence, owner of LFG Lending. So we're a mortgage brokerage that focuses solely in investment real estate lending. So alternatively to like your retail lenders that do like conventional and FHA and VA and USDA. I don't do any of that.
Yeah.
So we only work with investors. Our products are investor friendly and allow them to kind of grow their portfolio with ease and creativity and stuff like that. But again, I did start in the retail channel. So I guess to go way back in time, I actually used to be a car salesman.
No way. See, already I'm learning stuff about
little
you.
Things. Actually, gosh, if I had to go and do something else, I can't say that I wouldn't go back to car sales. It was fun and exciting, and I guess I live for that next deal mentality. And so car sales would probably be more on the finance side at this point with my experience, but definitely would be something that I would probably consider. But again, so I've been in mortgage over 10 years at this point. I was in car sales, and one of my friends, his name's Omar, was working at the Short North branch at Huntington, and he's like, please, please, please let me hire you. And I will say the downfall of car sales is you work the most absurd hours.
Yeah.
Like I actually used to have a dress shirt and tie, because that's also what I wore every day, a dress shirt and tie in my car at all times, because if a client would come in and say, oh yeah, let me think about it, let me talk to my husband, you couldn't lock up the deal then. If they came back, let's say Sunday at 1 o'clock, but you weren't working Sunday at 1 o'clock, guess what? You had to stop what you were doing, drive over, or you had to split comp with the guy that hasn't had anything to do with it. So that was crazy. And that work-life balance was just too tough. Yeah. I mean, I was only 23, so that's hilarious to think about at this point. But at the same time, I was seeing well in advance, like, hey, this isn't what I'm going to want to do long-term. And so when Omar kept pushing and pushing, I said, fine, let's go for it. So I became a banker at one of the smallest branches for Huntington. And when I walked in, I said, what makes me the most money? I'm money motivated. Yeah. I'm a sales girl through and through. And as soon as he said it, he was like, mortgage. I said, great. Who do I talk to learn the most about mortgage? And we got into the nitty gritty with the loan officer that covered our branch and all the moving parts of it. And we became one of the top producing offices. But we were the smallest office. So they were like, what the hell is going on in the Short North? And it was just me and Omar, like, getting into the nitty gritty and really learning that product through and through. So eventually, obviously, I ended up at Huntington's mortgage team as well. And the difference between me and most loan officers, I would say the big thing is I worked on high producing teams. I had a manager once say, Liz, you work in 2 speeds, fast and too fast. And so, but I've always been at that level of production that I don't know if I really know how to like take it slow and like just do kind of whatever the minimum expectation was. So between those 2 high producing teams that I worked under, I eventually realized, wait, I should do this myself. Why am I doing this for other guys? And as I was just part of their team. And so went solo. I was actually a loan officer by myself for 1 year.
Was this still at Huntington?
Technically, we made some moves. We were at Fifth Third and then U.S. Bank. So at U.S. Bank, I decided to make the split from the team that I was working under, was a loan officer for 1 year, and I got asked to open a Motto mortgage. Not a lot of people know that, actually. I always like kind of joke that my resume is a little bit deceiving in regards to my experience. Now, I say that in the sense that I've probably seen more transactions than most loan officers in this field that have been doing this for 20 years. Because again, some of the producers I was working with were doing $100 million a year in volume, where a normal cookie cutter loan officer does like 12. So I was doing 10 times the volume year over year with them. And I will say it's those at bats that I really think you can't learn unless you run into it kind of things. The experience is tenfold. So opened up a Motto mortgage, worked with that organization for a little bit, and that's where I got just the taste.
Got the bug.
Of investment real estate lending, as that franchise allowed for some of those lenders to be part of our platform. As soon as I got that taste, I was like, this is the only channel I want to work with.
And why was that?
Because a niche. So I think too often salespeople are selling the same thing that everybody else is selling, and that's tough. Then you're really focused on relationships, and in some instances you're going to have to spend money to kind of earn that relationship, and that becomes tough. And so when I worked on those teams back at Huntington, one of my mentors, Jay McDaniel, he only does doctor loans. It's the only thing he does. And Huntington
is kind of known for that too.
Exactly. Yeah. And I quickly learned that because that is what he does, anytime someone thinks about a doctor loan, they think Jay McDaniel. And I wanted to be that same thing for investment real estate. And I think we're doing a pretty good job at that. I at least think we're on the short list. And I think finding a niche really allows you to, one, laser focus on one set of products, one avenue of business, and be extremely good at it.
Sure.
Rather than, again, when we're talking retail lending, conventional, FHA, VA, US, all those products are immensely different from each other, and knowing all those guidelines can be really tough. So from being at Motto, got the bug, decided to kind of split from that partnership, opened LFG. We are now 3 years old. We're like, I will say we are a toddler. It feels like it. It acts like it. But I think we're in that grow stage, which is going to be kind of exciting over the next 5 years.
It is very exciting. And someone who opened our business around the same time, a little bit after you, I know exactly what you're talking about and the highs and the lows that come with that. On the other side of the coin, I want to have a little cart and the horse conversation, because I know that you invest in real estate as well.
I do.
So did you invest in real estate before you started working with investors on the loan side, or was it? How did that work out?
I was in mortgage, but I wasn't working with investors when I started. So my first investment transaction, that would have been pretty close to when Brooke and I started dating, which that was 2015. So somewhere around that neck of the woods, about 10 years ago as well. I guess that kind of tees up with just Huntington. And so got a small taste, kind of grew from that. And I think I truly believe that knowledge is key in investment real estate. You got to keep learning. You got to keep teaching yourself. And we've had a slow growth in regards to our portfolio. So we're at this point, we are, I think we're 16 properties, which I always like to level set with people. Not everyone needs 100 doors. I think that there's this, kind of thing of having all these doors and all these, all this revenue and whatnot. I would question. Brooke and I sit back regularly and say, do we need any more? Is this enough? Because I think there's a point, and that point is different for everybody, where it becomes a job. And none of us are looking for another job.
Well,
we're trying to get rid of the jobs we're doing.
You both own businesses.
Yep.
That's a third business.
Yep.
And it's a job that you own.
Yeah.
Is really what it is.
Yeah.
I would like to hear a little bit about your growth journey with real estate investing, because I feel like those go hand in hand with how I know you and how we've, come to know each other over the past few years.
Of course.
And I don't really know that side of your story.
I have some weird transactions that I've
weird
done.
is
So
fun.
I've bought into partnerships. So my first transaction was a friend who owned a property, was going to no longer make it his primary residence and was going to make it a rental. So I just cut him a check, became a partner, had that property. That was fine. We had it for a couple years, rented it, went smoothly, sold it for a profit. We actually did some light rehab before we sold it, as we thought that soft rehab would really boost our return, and it did.
Mm-hmm.
That was over in Galloway kind of area.
Yep.
From there, I bought a turnkey rental down in the Dayton area, Fairborn, so right next to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Used a conventional loan. I didn't do anything special. I put 20%. Actually, I think I put 15% down, which maybe some people don't know. Conventional loans do allow for 15% down. The deal has to make sense because you got mortgage insurance and higher rates and stuff. On that deal, it did. That one was turnkey. And then this is what happens. And it will happen to anybody. You'll just you'll be shopping and you'll know exactly what you know what your buy box is. You know what you want to buy. And we had then bought another turnkey rental, 20% down, simple transaction, in a city called Moraine, which is just south of Dayton, closer to Springboro, Miamisburg kind of area. So we had one. And then I saw a 6-pack come up for sale with a wholesaler.
You started getting excited.
And I was like, 6 all at once? Well, I came home and I looked at Brooke, my wife, and I was like, I think we're buying 6 properties. She's like, what? All of them needed rehab, but they were all in the same neighborhood. So we kind of joke. We now own 9 in that neighborhood. We call it our Schitt's Creek.
Okay.
That's the best way to explain it.
Yeah.
Sorry for anybody from Moraine. But that's the best way to kind of give a pulse to it. It's like a B- neighborhood. They're teeny tiny houses. They're 1,000 square feet. We BRRRR'd all of those properties, meaning that we bought them, we rehabbed them, we rented them, we refinanced, and we've repeated that process as we continue to grow our portfolio. I bet out of those 9 properties that now are worth somewhere in the over $1 million range, I bet we bought them for $60,000 total out of our pocket, which that is the secret sauce.
Yep.
You want the investment, people don't harp on this enough. The BRRRR method isn't broken. Don't try to fix it. Don't try to recreate it.
There's something I want to get back to about that, but I want to keep going.
Yeah.
But I have a question about it.
Those 6, that took a while, because there's kind of multiple ways that you can do these multi-packs. You can either displace everybody, rehab all of them, rent all of them.
That can
That's
be a cash
stressful.
flow issue.
Yeah, it's a cash flow issue. It's stressful. It's all the things. So what we did was we displaced, rehab, rented, did the next one. We tried to tee them up a little bit ahead of each other. It worked. It took a lot longer.
Yeah.
I guess I probably would have to redo the math. The math worked, so I didn't redo it. But I would be curious, would it have been cheaper to displace everybody? Out of that 6,
Might have been more stressful, though.
It 100% would. Because I would say it was stressful naturally.
Yeah.
Because we're also still running 2 businesses.
Were you
doing all things.
self-managing the properties as well?
No, so I am very, very grateful. Jess Bogenschutz out of the Dayton area manages all of our properties. I went to first grade with her.
Oh,
so she's incredible. Cute. I trust her immensely. So she manages our portfolio and probably another 100 doors down in the Dayton area. So she knows what she's doing. From there, so we got the 6 done. Did we buy any more down that direction? I'm always trying to.
Yeah.
I think there's 3 on the market right now that I keep negotiating with the seller on. And then we bought 1 in New Carlisle, which is between Dayton and Springfield. That's probably the best way to explain it. That was a perfect BRRRR, which is actually kind of tough to do in a lot of cases. So alternatively to those deals that I just spoke about where I left $60,000 in the deal, which also $10,000 is no big deal,
right.
To kind of get the setup that we did. That deal, I actually made about $10,000 on that transaction.
Love
so
it.
Bought it, rehabbed it, rented it, refinanced, got $10,000 in my pocket. I will say, I stubbed my toe a little bit. This is you should
it's a give
know.
and take.
You should know. The property had a well I didn't know.
Ah.
I saw the deal. The deal made sense. I pulled the trigger.
Due diligence.
Our contractor, I think, noticed it, but didn't like highlight it in the sense of like, oh, we should check that. It needed a new well. So it actually was, we were really making closer to the 20, and I think we spent 10 grand on a brand new well.
Brand new well.
So don't do that.
Yeah.
And then we have a house down on Dog Island down in Florida. That's our, I call it our reset button. So we have this crazy house on an island that you can only get to by boat or plane. And there's 65 houses on the island, and it is incredible. That's not a rental. We don't Airbnb it or anything like that. It's honestly too complicated.
I can imagine.
There's sand roads.
Impossible.
There's no grocery stores, convenience stores, nothing. It's wonderful. We have that. We have our primary, and then actually I did a very, very unique reverse mortgage for my in-laws so that my father-in-law could retire.
Oh.
Yeah. So all the things.
Yeah. So one of the things that's interesting to me about your portfolio that I don't feel like I bump into often here locally is you didn't focus on buying locally, like here in Columbus proper or the immediate Central Ohio vicinity. I would love to hear the reason that you branched out in that way. And was it coincidence or by design or a little bit of both?
On purpose.
On
Yeah.
purpose?
So I actually grew up in the Dayton area, so just south of Dayton in Miamisburg, which is very close to all of these. And so I know that market really well. Not that I don't know Columbus. I've now been living in Columbus for 13, 14 years now. So probably at this point, I may know Columbus better than I know Dayton areas. But I would say it was price to get into a deal that enticed me.
Yeah.
Because I think too often people, the cash to get in a transaction just can be so hefty up here in Columbus, which is fine. The numbers can make sense and you get your cash on cash return and it all can pencil out. For me, it was like, okay, I can go down here, I can leave 10 grand in a deal, and I can pick up these 10 grand houses over and over again, which is why it is so difficult to sometimes turn it off and say, oh, why don't we get another? Why don't we get another? And I always have to tell Brooke, like, it has to be the right deal. So those 3 deals that I mentioned that are on market, I want them, but the numbers have to be right.
Yeah.
And if the numbers aren't right, we're not doing it.
Yeah.
There's just no need.
What's the point?
My cash needs to be in things that work appropriately and correctly and not just throwing money against the wall and hoping it sticks.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what I figured. But another thing that I think is important to highlight is that you mentioned the BRRRR and the numbers, and it can be difficult to find all the right pieces where, the front end of a BRRRR is really a flip.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
But the back end, getting the cash flow locally at least, is getting harder and harder and harder.
Well, and I always question sometimes if people are running both of those numbers. So we're really big at LFG, like, we run those numbers even if your plan is to flip. Oh, okay, yeah, you plan on flipping this. Great, awesome. Well, your worst case scenario is you're going to keep it as a rental.
Right.
Does the cash flow work on the back end, or do you not have that exit strategy? And I think too often people aren't running those numbers to really cross their T's and dot their I's and protect themselves. Because I would say in Columbus, what we've seen over the last, 6, 12 months is a little bit of marketing softening.
Completely.
Days on market are exponentially higher.
I can tell you exactly when it happened. It was the 4th of July.
You're like,
because I had a property that came to list right then, and it was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we feel it, and if anybody feels it, our investors feel it. And I think that's some of the things that I think Columbus investors need to just slow down. Slow down, run your numbers, make sure you have as much cushion, not only in your rehab budget, but in your after repaired value, your holding cost. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So if you're 60 days on market.
So easy to forget.
So let's say it's a simple transaction. You're going to buy it. You'll have it rehabbed in 60 days. You'll have it now listed for 60 days, and then your 30 days to close. So I would say a minimum transaction right now is 5 months. Are you putting 5 months worth of interest-only payments, assuming you're using hard money, aside to kind of prepare for that? Maybe. You should.
You should.
You should.
Yeah. And the market definitely has changed over the past 6+ months. All right, quick pause in the conversation. I want to highlight something that fits right into this real estate world that we're always talking about. Styer Hospitality Co. brings together a full-service, furnished rental management company and a real estate brokerage under one roof. so owners, investors, and agents get reliable support from people who know the industry. Everything we do is built on real systems, trained staff, and the same level of oversight that I expect in my brokerage office. That gives owners a consistent process, steady communication, and a guest experience that feels intentional instead of reactive. If you own a property and feel like it could be performing better as a short or midterm rental, or you're spending too much time handling guests and unit turnovers, that is exactly where we can step in. We manage the entire operation so the property supports your goals rather than adding more stress to your week. And for the agents listening, we are a resource that you can plug directly into your business. If you have clients trying to keep their low interest rate on their current home while moving up, we can model the numbers and outline the strategy and run the property if they choose to convert it into a furnished rental. And if you have clients who need temporary housing during a transition, we can help place them quickly and keep the process smooth for everyone involved. If you want to see what your property could do in the short or midterm space, or you want a management partner you can rely on, head to StyerHospitalityCo.com, or you can reach out to me directly through the site and we can talk through your goals, run projections, and build a clear plan. Now let's get back to the conversation.
Well, and only the people that can make it through those changes can really stay in this industry long term. And and I think it's not getting discouraged when these changes happen, because even the bigwigs of the world, thankfully we were not buying or flipping or doing anything during these changes. And I don't know that Dayton has seen the same traction that Columbus has.
Right.
We're more of a growing market where I think you start to see those
it
changes
was
a
more
little bit more
status
obvious.
quo there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so I think it's just being able to adapt, being able to adjust. And I think that's essential, especially in market changes.
Completely.
On the real estate side, on the lending side. So actually in 2025, we had a rough year. And not, yes, production played a factor into it. It was like life was hard. I bet every person on my team had some major life event. And
well, you just told me about how you sprained your ankle a few days ago. So
that's the tip of the iceberg of what's going on. So we had like multiple deaths. Both of my grandparents got diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Couple cancer diagnoses. So it's just, but I think we have to realize like that's life. Unfortunately, I mean, this podcast was supposed to happen 45 days ago, but I had a death in the family.
Yeah.
So I think we just have to, that adapting happens not only professionally and how you help your clients, but also personally, and maybe realizing when life is telling you to slow the hell down.
And that's a great point. In real estate investing, it's so easy to try and fit everything right into this perfect box. And this is what's going to happen. And this is how long it's going to take. And it almost never happens that way.
No.
You do get the rare perfect BRRRR and all the good stuff. And I've had them too.
Yeah.
And it's just a great feeling.
And you hold on to it for as long as you can. And then
or you 1031 out of it and it's even better feeling.
There you go.
That's how actually I bought this office.
Okay.
So that was a fun day.
Oh my gosh, I completely forgot. I own 2 offices too.
Hey.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, I feel like I'm missing something.
Well,
so
that's
we have
a good segue because I want to hear about what it was like starting your own business, because that is a leap that not a lot of people take, and even investors, like, that is a business as well.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
But truly going out and starting a business to the point where you're buying an office, you're hiring employees, all the things. Let's talk about that a little bit, because that is you have a unique perspective. I would love to hear what that journey was like for you and some of the lessons you've learned.
So, I mean, we made a pretty abrupt decision to open up LFG, and the office happened pretty soon after. So we bought an office over in Westerville. It's kind of like a condo-style office space. I bought it for $150,000. It's 1,600 square feet.
Wow.
We just actually modified it and made 2 additional offices. So now we are 2, 4, 6, 7 offices, a conference room. Probably could squeeze an 8th office if we needed to. And so I pay about $1,500 a month. That made sense all day long. I knew the likelihood that Liz is going to sit and be a solo, business, like, because I could be, as a mortgage broker, I could just sit at a desk, my home, an office elsewhere. I could have a processor, and that could be it. I like people too much.
Well, we bought this place, and it's got more space than we need.
Yeah. But I think the space was worth the cost, and I knew that I would grow into it. I actually think that that sometimes pushes you to make sure you grow into it.
Yeah.
But that leap is not for everyone. And I would actually say I wonder socially if it's becoming less of a desired thing to make that leap of faith and have that uncertainty. I think like coming from sales, it feels pretty innate to me to just hustle.
Push.
Yeah. I'm money motivated. I'm relationship oriented. Like that is all just Liz Lawrence in a nutshell. But I wonder, I think as we are trying to hire additional salespeople, which we are hiring, so anybody interested, feel free to call. But I feel like we're finding different people's why they do this. It's not always, I think when you think back in time, or my grandfather. So my grandfather was a banker as well. He was the president of a bank at one point. I would say I am the carbon copy of my grandfather. Brooke laughs sometimes because sometimes I even like have mannerisms like him and whatnot. But I think that type of salesperson, I don't know if it's the same kind of person anymore.
Yeah.
And it's finding even in our team, I constantly have to stop myself knowing what my motivations are and really focus on what's the why of my team and making sure that I'm leveling what they need to feel successful, and not that being driven by what I feel is successful. So it's a learning curve, to say the least.
And what have you learned, and how do you do that? Because it can be tough.
It's so tough. I think you have to have those intimate moments with your team members. Like I probably am to a fault. I treat them as if they're family, and I want them to feel valued and appreciated in our company. And so I think it's having those questions. Sometimes the blunt question of like, hey, this is what drives me, but you? What is that? What is that? And I'll give a little shout out to Adam Messmer. Adam Messmer is not a money-motivated dude. He's like, I think he enjoys being in the scene and being a part of the community and being known in the community. Well, that makes it a very different management style for me to meet those needs and assist him to feel secure in that space and successful in that area than driving him with leads and trying to get him more cash flow into his pocketbook. It's not going to matter to him. It doesn't bring him joy. So I think it's just figuring out. I think any business owner, I would say sales driven, if you feel like your team's not producing, you may just need to slow things down and really figure out why are they here? Why do they want to be here? What brings them that satisfaction? Because it may not be dollars and cents anymore.
That's such a great perspective and unique thing about having a small business that I personally enjoy as well. Because we get to all be people together.
Yeah.
Right? And we have common goals with regards to the success of our business that we either own or work with and for. But we also have our individual goals, which is more what you're speaking of. What was it like as your team grew? And 3 years in the life of a business owner when you're starting a business can feel like forever, but it's pretty short.
It's so short.
What was that growth like for you?
Gosh, there's all the emotion in one. I mean, I will say business ownership has made me feel grateful. Because I think LFG has been extremely lucky. We've kind of went into the market at a perfect time, especially with all the things I'm talking about right now of market slowdowns and longer on market times and stuff. When we started, that wasn't the case. It was rapid fire and all the things. So I'm grateful that we came in at the right time and secured the market share the way that we did. It can be painful sometimes. I mean, I would say as a business owner, I would even ask yourself, it can sometimes get a little lonely. Because like when you're an employee,
there's no one to look up to.
No, when there's employees and you guys are all kind of bitching about the same thing. Guess who I get to bitch to? Nobody.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe my spouse, but you have to manage that as well. And I think it can be sometimes a little tough. And I wonder, should we all be talking about this a lot more? Maybe yes, maybe no.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of why we're having this conversation in general is because and I do enjoy having these conversations because I'm speaking from my heart and my experience too. Yeah. I mean, I think coaching is an important thing if you 100%. Can find a coach or a mentor. But
so I've had a hard time only because we're so I could find a retail mortgage coach.
Yeah.
It's not really the same kind of industry.
Right.
So I've actually been interviewing a lot of coaches trying to find someone that I feel like isn't going to take me in a direction that most of their students have. So I've actually had a hard time with
You bring up a really interesting thought idea, because I agree with you. Like you mentioned, getting into a niche is such a valuable way to build a business.
book of business, yeah.
And it completely is. That's 100% true. And we've done that here as well.
Yeah, exactly.
But it also has unique challenges in that, hey, if you're the go-to for that, it's for a reason, because
Yeah,
there's
no one
not
else
like
has done it.
off-the-shelf products all the time that you can just pick up and, walk on down the street. So it's like pros and cons.
I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had a hard time with scalability? Like, hey, is the business comfortable this size, or do I want it to be this size or corporate or franchise?
So one thing that we did is we hired a fractional CFO.
Okay.
And that has been really beneficial for us because it just helped us. We do have plans on continued growth.
Yeah.
We're not at a level yet where we're happy. I say that we just exited the viability stage.
Okay.
The initial goal was to get to 100 doors under management, 100 furnished doors. And we hit that. And then we slowed down. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
It was great. It was a
Have those wins.
That was like the first goal, but it is not the end goal.
Yeah.
And I think that for us, like with that came a lot of changes. We started the business in the garage.
I love that.
My wife and I,
Yes.
Sarah. And actually, we went out to dinner, the four of us.
Yeah, we did.
Before we started, and we said, hey, we're going to start this business.
I feel like we
I
are
remember you going like,
this
all right, good
teeny
luck.
tiny piece of your story, and I love every part of it. So
I still remember that.
you should be proud of yourself.
It's hard to look back, but
Mm-hmm.
I do have some pride in the fact that we've come as far as we have.
Yeah.
But we're not finished. So, all businesses have a life cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at us as just exiting the viability stage and now entering the growth stage.
Okay.
And we have growth goals that we've set, and financial goals that we've worked out with our CFO about what those look like, and hiring plans and growth plans, and So I think I'm rambling, and I kind of lost where I started.
So I let me kind of give you where I think business owners have an issue. I think we have a tough time being satisfied in the sense of like, is this big enough? Is this,
yeah.
Or
No,
do we
I'm
want it to
not
be
satisfied.
larger?
I'm not satisfied,
Yeah.
and not
It doesn't
because-
surprise me. Neither am I. If that helps.
I don't know that is really something that I will maybe ever experience.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not anywhere near that level yet.
I feel like I'll get a text from you like 2 weeks from now being like, I've been thinking about this way too much.
Who knows, right?
Yeah.
Every day is just a roller coaster. But
Yeah. But that's exciting. I would say we're similar. We're
Mm-hmm.
very much like, again, when you're a toddler, you're just trying to get your feet underneath you. You're trying to build some autonomy. You're trying to make sure everything's kind of working and functioning the way that you want it to. Yeah, everything's working and functioning the way we want it to. Now it's like, can we copy and paste this? Can we copy and paste this? Can we copy and paste this? Maybe. And I think I'm not sitting here thinking it needs to be 10 times what it is. Maybe 3.
Mm-hmm.
And that would bring, I think, again, the goal for investors, the goal for business owners is to have the financial freedom. And I think I'm back to my OG days of like, okay, can I get a little bit more work-life balance?
Yeah.
Because am I working 50
Yeah.
plus hours a week regularly? Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And I'd like to get to 40. 40, I don't know what I would do if I only worked 40 hours a week, but I'd like to have the option.
I tell myself like one day I'm going to work 8 hours a week. Or something like that,
I mean, it's possible.
It's possible, but it's also like years away.
Yeah,
But what would I do?
exactly.
So I had a mentor. Before I was in real estate, I worked in the restaurant industry, and I was very close with the owner of the restaurant I worked at, and we're still, in touch and everything. And he always said, like, what would I do if I sold the restaurant? I'd probably open a restaurant. And I like that was funny at the time, but now it's like I totally get it.
Yeah.
I love
Doing
working
what
in
we're
real
doing.
estate and working on the business and growing the business and the wins that can happen on the daily. But it is a roller coaster, and there are high highs and low lows sometimes.
Well, thankfully, we like what we do.
Yes.
Because there's plenty of people that are working jobs that they hate and they
Yeah.
don't want to wake up in the morning and do what they're doing. And we're all, again, back to gratitude. We're on
Yeah.
the opposite side of this, where when I wake up in the morning, though there's some painful parts of my day, generically speaking, I am hyped to do exactly what we're doing. So.
Yeah. Well, one thing I always like to ask my guests is about mentorship, and I briefly brought that up. Have you had any experience with mentorship on one side of the coin or the other? Do you have someone that you can point to and say, like, that was a great mentor for me and I learned so much? And do you ever mentor in your current position?
I would say Jay McDaniel was huge for me. I mean, I think he taught me everything under the sun and more. Now we're on like kind of the same playing field, which is our conversations are so different now, which is nice. And I also kind of sit there and I'm like, I wonder like OG days of me being just like the kid that you helped out and stuff. And I am a teacher naturally.
Me too.
I would say for our clients and for our salespeople, I love to get into the nitty gritty and teach and adapt. So I would say mentorships definitely would probably be in the next 5-year plan. I would say my hours are so few and far between. Now, would I love it? Would it be my why? Probably. Yeah, that would definitely be something that, especially in mortgage, I would love to be the Jay McDaniel to someone else. I think I could easily do that if someone wanted to join LFG as a salesperson and grow. Because, goodness gracious, the potential that is available, because we're a national lender. We can do deals anywhere. Which is, for me, is like a kid in the candy store, which I can't go after every deal. I still originate, but I can't go after every deal. And that's where, our sales team growing will be probably one of the higher priorities alongside processing to make 2026 to 2030 goals happen.
I would say that is also infrastructure for mentorship as well. Yeah. Like, I know that for me, I also love teaching. And there was a minute there where I thought about being a teacher. And power to the teachers, but I'm glad that wasn't the path I took personally. But I can get a lot of that fulfillment through owning this business and bringing in agents and bringing on staff and training them on how we do it, but even more so why we do it, how we do it, because this is a relationship business.
100%.
This is a relationship business, and reputation is everything. And we strive every day in every decision we make to bolster those relationships and that reputation, because you can build it up with thimbles and you can spill it by the bucketful. Yeah. And it is so important. That. Yeah, That's not an original. No, but no, I loved it when I heard it. So
I'm like, okay,
I'm taking that.
Okay.
Yeah. So what does that growth look like for you? You mentioned your team's growing, or you're planning on growing your team.
Yeah, I think we're. Depends what kind of coffee I'm drinking that day.
Yeah.
I think we're probably 5 to 10 new salespeople this year, which is a bit of an ambitious goal. But we need it. I think we have the lead volume and the systems and the process to make it happen. Processing will always flow with the growth of the sales team. So we're probably right on the tail end. Actually, I think I posted last week that we're hiring a processor. So if someone's like on the more administrative side and has some interest or experience in mortgage, we would love to speak to someone. Yeah. But we kind of follow suit. I think our processing team's just at capacity. And so we'll add another processor, and then April 1st, we're hoping to do a sales training. So the goal is to have as many people in that sales training as possible. There's some fallout. Not everybody's a salesperson. I can't say that enough. And you may not know until you're in it. And this is a full commission job, very similar to real estate. So you gotta have to have the work mentality, and
you eat what you kill.
Exactly. And I would say what we've really kind of focused on for the growth is we used to be very lackadaisical. You come in, you have an expectation of hitting X amount of loans in a month. As long as you hit those, you can do what you want. I don't know that everyone appreciates that much lackadaisicalness and structure. And so actually this year we've put a lot of structure back in place. Still leaving flexibility, because this job does allow for a ton. You want to take your kid to soccer practice? Go do it. You want to go to a doctor's appointment at 10 a.m.? I don't care. Is your work done? Sweet. Awesome. Keep doing that. But I think this job is for an innate salesperson, and people know if they know. Right.
And it can be learned, but you got to have it a little bit too.
Well, and I would also say Adam is now true mortgage. He's like 5 years in. Investment real estate, he's only like 3, and he only works.
And I would have never guessed that, because I know Adam well, and I've known him for years.
His knowledge is immense. Oh my gosh, just like the brain that man has. And he only works 20, 25 hours a week, and brings home a good penny and
Good for him.
moves on. And I think it can get to that. And that's what I would say. Any newer salesperson is just like, be patient, focus on your systems, your process, stay organized. Because sometimes when you're in this sales space, the leads come in and you get a little overwhelmed and it's like, slow down, take this one. Let's go through it. Let's figure out how this works. And I feel like we already have that system in place to keep them successful, that it should be pretty easy unless they're unorganized naturally. So
that sounds more like immediate growth. What does future growth look like for you guys?
I mean, long term, the goal is to get this saleable. I say that all the employees of LFG don't run for the hills. Everything's fine. I will probably always still work for LFG. But the fact that I'm producing too much. So it makes the company not saleable.
I feel like that's
in the sense,
not uncommon in this world.
It was so funny. I was with my financial advisor, and he's like, "Oh, Liz, I'm in the same position." He's like, "I can't sell this thing because I'm the one producing a lot of the volume."
I literally just got out of production January 1st.
Yeah. And so my goal is to, I don't know when that date's going to be, because I'll be honest, I'll probably still originate just because I want to, but I don't want it to be necessary.
Yeah.
So it's getting it to the point where the company could be sold. And again, Liz gets hired by LFG and we just keep doing this thing for 15, 20 years. But I would say, again, work-life balance, trying to get to a 40-hour work week, getting the company stable in a saleability factor, growing a bit just because that's innately necessary with me pulling out. And
I would say one thing about working towards saleability of your business doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to sell it, but that you could, and that
because you want that
are
ability.
Striving to, and it benefits the business as an asset.
Yeah.
Because you are striving to be able to hand it off to somebody else, which in turn helps you develop your systems and your processes, and
it keeps you accountable.
It does. Because if I'm going to sell this thing tomorrow, well, the buyer's going to be asking this, that, and the other, and I don't have that. I don't have those SOPs in place. I don't have
organized, then it'll be an issue.
Have a tight ship if you're going to ever sell your business, or if you're going to want to make the money you're going to want to make out of it.
Exactly.
And so even if you never decide to sell it, knowing that you could because you've done everything that you need to be able to, I think there's a lot of value in that as well.
Well, in the last 3 months, we hired a COO. She started, and she's policy and procedure. She is all the things that Liz Lawrence, as a salesperson, is not. Oh, yeah. I'm not that person. I'm not going to be that person. Yeah. I'm going to try my best. I'll approve documents, but I don't want to tell me what we're supposed to be doing here. Yes. Yeah. And so I think even that structural aspect was necessary. I mean, all of these are just the things that maybe I should have done on day 30 that...
It's hard. It's hard.
You're blinded.
You can't do everything. You can't do all the things. You have to grow.
Yeah.
And that's why I say, like, we're still, like, exiting viability into the growth.
Let's
go.
Yeah,
you know, it's
2026.
Like, I know. This is our year.
Yeah? You feel
This is our year. Yeah. We put it all in place, and now it's time.
I love that.
So, well, this has been awesome. And I don't think I asked you one question I had on the list. But that's okay, because before we started this, I told you I may ask every single one. I may ask none of them. It's just a conversation, so we'll see how it goes.
Next time.
I do think that this was a really fun conversation. At least I had fun.
I did as well.
And
thanks for having me.
I hope that our listeners will as well. So before we wrap it up, if they want to find you, how can they find you?
LFG.com.
LFG.com.
Simple. LFG, it does mean maybe what you think it is. Lending.com. That'll get you to my team. You can schedule calls if you have questions. You can get in touch with me. You can join the team that way. Would love to hear from anybody.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for being on. This was really fun.
Thanks.
That wraps up another episode of Columbus Brick by Brick, where we uncover the people, projects, and ideas shaping the future of our city. A huge thank you to our guests for sharing their insights and contributing to the ongoing story of Columbus. If you enjoyed today's conversation, please be sure to subscribe, leave a comment, and share this episode with someone who'd love learning more about our community. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Columbus Brick by Brick, and visit us anytime at columbusbrickbybrick.com for more episodes and updates. This is Columbus Brick by Brick, where every brick has a story, and we're here to tell it. See you next time.